Hey guys, how we doing today? It's Wally with LearningNet.com, and if you guys are watching this video, it means that you're looking for a cheap web hosting provider with cPanel. I'm assuming that either you're hosting right now with a web hosting provider that uses cPanel and you wanted to migrate your website over to another one that's more affordable. If that's the case, then this video will be for you. What I'm going to be doing is giving you my number one recommendation and really pointing out 4 things that I look for with any web hosting provider that must be in place before you get started with them. If you guys are new here to this channel for LearningNet.com, guys, hit the subscribe button right below along with the bell, and that way any future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive them. So most web hosting providers online use cPanel, and what's really great about cPanel is that one, it makes it really easy to be able to launch websites online. You get access to tons of features and tools on your dashboard that allows you to do just that. And so if you're looking right now for another provider, a better provider than the one that you're hosting with right now, I do have some links that are right below. They're going to point you directly to Fusion Arc Hosting. You may or may not know too much about them. They're an amazing web hosting provider that specializes specifically in cheap web hosting with cPanel itself. A few things that I wanted to tell you guys about first before I really dive into this review is that when you get started with any web hosting provider, there are 4 things that I think should be always in place every time. One, you need to have a web hosting provider that's affordable. You need a web hosting provider that has really great uptime performance on their servers. You need a host that has really great security measures in place to keep your website protected 24/7. And obviously you need really great customer support. All of these things must be in place. That way, when you launch your website, your blog, or even like a WooCommerce store to sell products online, you can rest assured that people will be able to find you online, be it through Google, Yahoo, or Bing, and they'll be able to purchase or see your products that you're selling on your website itself. And so when you think about affordability, guys, typically when you get started with any web hosting provider online, maybe with the host that you're at right now that you're thinking to migrate, from today, with the links that we have below, you will notice that with web hosting itself, there are really 2 different prices that you're going to be working with. One is an introductory pricing, what you're going to be getting started with today, and renewal rates itself. What I recommend, guys, for beginners, if this is going to be your very first website, or if you're migrating from another provider that you don't like over to Fusion Arc Hosting, I recommend that you purchase more web hosting up front. In the case of Fusion Arc Hosting, what I like about them is that they have some very flexible terms where you can get 1 year up front, 2 years, 3 years. You can go month to month if you want. I don't really recommend that for any web hosting provider. I think it's just a waste of time and resources. In the case of Fusion Arc Hosting, you can get, let's say for example, if you went with their very first tier, which is the NanoNet itself, it's really designed for beginners, and it handles up to like 10,000 monthly visitors, which is more than enough for most beginner sites that are online. With this site alone itself, or this particular plan, if you were to get just 1 year today with the links below, we're talking about roughly $20 or so for your very first year itself. If you were to purchase like 3 years up front, which is what I recommend every beginner online to do, we're talking about $60. And so it's an amazing deal itself, guys. Highly recommend it. If you are a person that wants to create multiple websites online, you can do that also with Fusion Arc Hosting. They have different plans that cater to different needs, as well as resources that will be allocated to your particular account itself. One point that I wanted to talk about in addition to like affordability, because that's very important, especially for beginners, both on the front and back end, is that you need to have really great uptime performance. So uptime performance, guys, is really a measurement of how often your website appears online itself when people are searching for you. Like today, you guys found this video, maybe on YouTube. Maybe you're on like Google, and you Google looking for Fusion Arc hosting a review. You wanted to know more about cPanel, the best web hosting providers online that offer cPanel itself, and great, you found this video, which is amazing, right? But when people search for you online, the reality is that they're going to use long tail keywords to find your brand online, be it on Google, Yahoo, or Bing, right? And so Uptime Performance will make sure that your website is online 24/7. And that's extremely important. That way you don't lose money or potential sales from products that people might want to purchase but can't actually click through because your website is down. And so I mentioned all this in short just to state that with Fusion Arc Hosting, they have rock solid uptime performance, really great performance, guys. They have CDNs in place, caching, all of these things that really help to provide a stable network itself. And so I wanted to mention that up front. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is security. We live in a world that's very unsecure, where websites each and every day, all day, are bombarded with things like malware, DDoS attacks, root attacks. All of these things are a huge threat to any website, blog, or WooCommerce store that's online. And so what you need is a web hosting provider, guys, that provides around the clock security protection for your website. That way, in the event something does go down, you are protected. So what I love about Fusion Arc Hosting itself is that they do provide protection against DDoS attacks, root attacks, CDNs, as I mentioned before. They're really great, not only for promoting like fast page loads itself, but they also help to block different threats or potential vulnerabilities online itself. And so I really like that Fusion Arc Hosting has all these things in place, again, to keep your website protected online. So you need that for any website, blog, e-commerce store online, SSL certificates. Google requires this. That way they don't mark your website unsecure in SERPs. The last thing that I wanted to mention, guys, that you need to have in place is obviously customer support. If you have any questions at all, there's a problem that arises, you need to be able to reach out to somebody, and really fast. I had some really nice experiences with Fusion Arc Hosting itself, especially with the reps. They respond very fast. I'm kind of person, I'm always on the go. And so when you contact customer support itself, you can get in contact with somebody very fast within about 15 seconds. At least that's been my experience itself. And so I highly recommend that you give Fusion Arc Hosting a try. Wanted to give this brief video just to tell you guys a little bit more about them and why is it that you should use them as your web hosting provider with cPanel. So right now, if you guys are hosting with another provider, maybe it's Bluehost, it's HostGator, it's SiteGround, DreamHost, another one of these providers out there, and you want to migrate your website over to Fusion Arc Hosting, you can do that free. They have free site migrations. What you can do is get started today, guys, by using the link below. They have an amazing deal that's going on right now, especially for beginners online with the NanoNet plan itself. We can get started today for only $1. Yes, just $1 gets you started today. There's a money back guarantee. And so if you feel that, after testing Fusion Arc Hosting, that they're not for you, contact customer support and get your money back, right? And so remember this, guys, that if you're creating your very first website online, highly recommend that you purchase more web hosting up front, because typically with web hosting, not only with Fusion Arc Hosting, but with any web hosting provider, if you only purchase 1 year, what's going to happen is the very following year, the pricing itself is going to go up. The amazing thing about Fusion Arc Hosting that I really love about them is that they have the lowest startups, or the lowest introductory pricing itself, and the lowest renewals. And so that's something that you want to look for. A lot of web hosting providers don't have that. They may start you off very low, or you might get in for under $5, but when the next year pops around, when it renews, it might renew for maybe 3 or maybe 5 times as much as what you started with. And so these are some things, guys, that I really love about Fusion Arc Hosting. I invite you guys to get started with them today using the links below. If you guys found value with this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, show your support on this YouTube channel, and that way other amazing people just like yourselves will be able to find this video in search. Guys, have an amazing day, and once again, I hope you guys much success in your endeavors of launching your website today with Fusion Arc Hosting. Have an amazing day, much success in your business, not only for this year, but the years to come. Take care.